Hello everybody and welcome back to a brand new video. Make sure you smash that like button down below and hit the subscribe button if you are new. As you guys know, we are being shadow banned. We have a negative 93% impression advantage, so make sure you interact with this video. It helps it in the algorithm, and share it with a friend because that way we can get more people enjoying our content and we can beat that shadow ban. And today we have a white pill to talk about. Two separate RINO senators are deciding to retire, and potentially that could be Donald Trump's doing, in terms of Trump potentially threatening to endorse a primary challenger for some of these candidates. Now, keep in mind, my last video was critical of the president. I didn't know how well it would go over with Trump's base that subscribes to my YouTube channel. However, it had one of the highest like to dislike ratios in the history of my channel because people agreed with me that Donald Trump sometimes he slips up, he endorses RINOs that stab him in the back, that stab his base and agenda in the back, people like Mike Crapo. And there is some good news that Donald Trump potentially is not endorsing Senator Roy Blunt, that Donald Trump is not endorsing Senator David Perdue, hence why he decided not to run in the Georgia Senate election a week after filing preliminary paperwork to do so. So either way, we are going to talk about all this and more, analyze Missouri, we're going to see what's going on there, we're going to analyze Wisconsin, talk about 2022 and the battle for the Republican Party in our country. But first, I have to tell you guys about my friends over at Noble Gold. So, are you making full use of your savings? Think of the times you've yearned for better returns. After real inflation, charges, and taxes, are you even making a profit? With food, clothing, and rent all more than doubling over the past 10 years, you need to do something different. Gambling on Robinhood or stocks might lose you the lot. And like thousands of others, you want to retire stress-free. A precious metals IRA with Noble Gold could be the answer. And this month, Noble Gold is gifting a genuine rare Carson City minted Morgan silver dollar with every qualifying IRA or 401k. These coins were around when an ounce of silver was worth $1. An 1893 example in mint condition is now worth more than $3,250, a staggering increase of 325,000%. That's a return of over 2,500% a year. This is the power of long-term precious metals investing. So get in touch with the experts at Noble Gold and talk through your options today. That's www.noblegoldinvestments.com. Again, www.noblegoldinvestments.com. So Senator Roy Blunt deciding to step down, will not run for re-election. It's hilarious how this article frames this as a blow to the Republican Party. That is an absolute joke. Roy Blunt is not well liked among the Republican base. This guy is a RINO. He is weak on immigration. He is weak on trade. He is weak in terms of the foreign policy issue. And it shows. If you want to look at 2016 and how he performed in 2016 against Jason Kander, who has said he will not run this time, even though, it could change, but likely he won't. Roy Blunt did terrible in the core of the state. He did terrible in the rural areas. You see a lot of light pink and light red where it should be dark maroon in a lot of the middle part of the state, where Donald Trump won the state by almost 20 points in 2016. Roy Blunt won the state by 3. Now, keep this in mind. I do not believe that this seat, even if Blunt was to run for re-election, would have any chance at flipping to the Democrat column. It is very unlikely to happen. But it is funny when we talk about Roy Blunt, because if anybody's going to lose the seat, it's going to be Roy Blunt. So these people in the media have no idea what they're talking about, calling this a blow to the GOP. If anything, it is a boon to the GOP. Looking at 2018, Josh Hawley, despite the fact that the generic ballot in 2016 was even, in 2018, however, the generic ballot was D+7 to D+9, depending on how you want to frame it and look at it, given all of the races that had 2 Democrats. It's very difficult to explain, but let's cut it in the middle. Let's say it was a D+8 national environment or so. Josh Hawley ended up defeating Claire McCaskill by double the margin that Roy Blunt won by in 2016. Roy Blunt was carried by Donald Trump in the state of Missouri. Claire McCaskill, obviously a wolf in sheep's clothing, ran as a blue dog, really wasn't. Hawley didn't run as populist as he is now. Obviously, I think he would have done a lot better if he did, and he still was tied to the Greitens administration, which had quite a few scandals, even though Hawley did his best to distance himself enough from it to win, and arguably Greitens was put in a terrible position and potentially framed. Doesn't matter. Josh Hawley defeated Claire McCaskill by roughly 6 percentage points in 2018. Compared to the national environment, he did extremely well. And then in 2020, you saw Mike Parson, the current governor, who, by the way, was not elected to the governorship. He runs against the only elected Democrat statewide officer, the state auditor, Nicole Galloway, and he wins by a margin in line to what Trump won the state by. A lot of ruby red in the middle of the state. So from right here, you could see a 16 to 17 point win. So whoever the Republican is, they're not going to lose the state of Missouri. It's very unlikely this cycle. It's a state that's been trending more and more Republican. Even if they may lose a couple percentage points here and there in the Kansas City suburbs or the St. Louis suburbs, they're still growing in the rural part of the state. And it shows. Now, in terms of what candidate is going to be the individual to run in place of Roy Blunt, I hope it is Jason Smith. Jason Smith is probably one of the more populist, agricultural, working-class, blue-collar type of congressman in the state of Missouri. He would answer to the people. You look at 2016, you see all the light pink and light red in the middle of the state. That would easily become dark red if Jason Smith was the nominee. I would support Jason Smith, especially over a neocon type representative that would run, that may be able to do well in the St. Louis and Kansas City areas, but potentially fail in the middle of the state to the point where the GOP would have to pour money into the race in Missouri, and when they would get there, they would be just as milquetoast and a RINO as Roy Blunt is. So that has to be taken into consideration, but either way, it is a very good thing that these RINOs are retiring. You look at Purdue stepping down, Doug Collins can run for Senate, and hopefully Donald Trump will endorse him. Hopefully Donald Trump will endorse Jason Smith in Missouri. Hopefully somebody that is not named Josh Mandel or Jane Timken is going to run in the state of Ohio to replace Rob Portman, who is a RINO who stepped down. So these examples go on and on about positive things. Yesterday, I talked about some of the things Trump did recently that I didn't agree with in terms of the direction of the party. However, so far, if Donald Trump refused to endorse Roy Blunt behind the scenes, and that's why Roy Blunt is stepping down, that is big-time stuff from the former president. Now, in terms of Wisconsin, Ron Johnson is probably stepping down. He has not committed to it, but it's been the writing on the wall the whole time. I believe that he would step down. I'm not even so sure he wanted to run for a second term in 2016. Now he is pretty much going to step down. He admitted it. And as a result, Republicans could potentially put a more authentic conservative in there. Obviously, Johnson is not the worst senator, but he is an establishment guy. And he does answer first and foremost to the mega donors and the Waukesha establishment around the Wow counties. Now, in terms of what we're going to see here, much like you may see a battle in Missouri between somebody like Jason Smith and a more neoconservative type individual, you are going to see in the state of Wisconsin. And you saw this in 2018. And Donald Trump should have endorsed Kevin Nicholson. He probably still would have lost to Baldwin, but it would have been a much closer election. Nicholson was pro-Trump. If you look at the map here, Vuckmer, establishment character. A lot of Trump voters didn't vote for her based off of that reason alone. She answered directly to where you can see the dark red areas here. Nicholson did very well across the state. He did very well in the white working class areas. A lot of these counties trended and swung Republican in 2020 as well. So keep in mind that Republicans need to nominate somebody like Nicholson, an America First candidate, not somebody like Vuckmer. It's not going to be Vuckmer this time. It's probably going to be Brian Steele, who was Paul Ryan's hand-picked successor for his congressional seat, and that is something we need to stay far away from. Or maybe Paul Ryan will decide to run for it himself, even though I think that he would get whacked even in a primary, because nobody likes Paul Ryan. But if the Republicans decide to be weak and put up weak candidates, they are going to lose some of these Senate seats. So basically what they need to do is nominate somebody who can get the Trump base out, who doesn't answer to the special interests first and foremost, preferably Kevin Nicholson if he decides to run. And hopefully Donald Trump does his duty and endorses the America First authentic conservative candidates, because there's really three types of candidates you're going to see in 2022. There's going to be the old guard, the RINOs, the neocons, your Paul Ryan, Romney, Lindsey Graham type individuals. Then you're going to have the America First candidates, your DeSantis, your Hawley, your Anthony Sabatini, who is now running in Florida for Congress in 2022. I'm very excited about that other white pill that we had today. And then there's going to be the middle ground, the MAGA Inc. grifter, who will pay lip service to Trump, but on policy just cave into the establishment on pretty much everything. People like Catalina Lauf in Illinois 16th. These are astroturfed individuals, and preferably we get Donald Trump to endorse the authentic America First candidates. But that's really a topic for another video, because I could go on and on and on about the astroturfing, and I have on my live streams. But what you are going to see in Wisconsin is a battle between the Waukesha establishment and the rest of the state. And I talked with Real American Politics and DC Perspective on last night's stream about it. We had a good discussion. And either way, it's going to be interesting to watch. But the good news is RINOs are stepping down, and hopefully and potentially because Donald Trump has not committed to endorsing them. And people always want to talk about the fact that Trump really hasn't endorsed a whole lot of primary challengers in 2018. However, he likely would have to Jeff Flake and Bob Corker, and a lot of them stepped down because they didn't want to deal with the embarrassment of losing a primary, and that is what you are seeing right here with Roy Blunt out of the state of Missouri. So anyways, guys, thanks for watching this video. Please like this video down below, comment down below, and subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell for notifications so you never miss another video. Follow me on social media, especially Alt Tech. The links are in the description below. As always, guys, thanks for watching. Red Eagle, out.